name is Amanda and today I have a very exciting video to share with you guys because today I will be going back to the subject of the IB diploma program because I know that for IB2 students this semester is by far the most stressful one, and I have a bunch of videos that I've planned on making over the next few weeks and months that will help you out with everything from IAs to TOK, essay presentations, maybe exams as well if that's something you'd be interested in. So I have made a few videos in the past on the IB diploma program. I have made a video about how to survive the extended essay, and I've made a video about just generally explaining how I've perceived the IB and how everything worked out for me and that sort of thing. But today's topic is the TOK essay, and I hope that you haven't had your deadline for it yet, because I know that certain schools put earlier deadlines and some schools set later deadlines, but I think that this will be around the time when people write their TOK essays. I've got a few tips and tricks that I'm aiming to share with you guys, and even though it's not relevant, I got an A on my TOK essay, or in TOK in general, so I do kind of know what I'm talking about, even though TOK is an elusive subject that kind of defies interpretation and definition in a way. There is still like a formula on how to do well in it, I'd say. So if you want to nail your TOK essay, here are how to do it. So my first tip is to unpack the question in the introduction. You need to know what you're talking about, and the reader of your essay needs to know that you know what you're talking about. You need to make sure that you really define the key terms, not maybe by going to the Oxford English Dictionary, but in a way that is comprehensible but not too generic in a way. It's hard to explain it. There's a fine line between being overly informal and being just doing the same thing as everyone else. But in the introduction, it's vital that you know what you're talking about and that the examiner knows that you know what you're talking about. My second tip is to get that TOK terminology in there right from the beginning and throughout the essay. Make sure that you use those specific TOK words that they're looking for, because the examiners are looking to make sure that you know what the TOK subject is about and how to use it on the outside world in general. And the way to do that is through terminology. When it comes down to the examples you use in your essay, there is this delicate line between personal and irrelevant, and personal in a way that strengthens your argument. And the general formula that I used, which seemed to work really well, is going from a small personal example into a wider general example. So let's say you're talking about mathematics and you start maybe by explaining something that you learned in a mathematics class and how that helped you explain your TOK essay question, and then you slowly move that into a more general mathematics argument about maybe a theory or an equation or a way of calculating that will help you also strengthen your argument in that particular paragraph. In that way you avoid these irrelevant, way too personal, but also the way too generic examples that everyone uses. Another key to a really good TOK essay is balance, because you have this question or prompt or statement that you are responding to, and you have to make sure that you just don't favor one side or the other. You have to put up arguments for both, yes, this statement is true, and arguments that say, no, this statement is not true because this and this and this, and then it's your job in the conclusion to synthesize those ideas, and really that's when you truly answer your question in a way. That goes for every type of essay, but especially in the TOK one. Next tip is one that I always talk about when it comes to essays, and that is proofread and discuss with friends. They are your greatest asset in the IB, and I don't know how many times I can tell you guys that friends in the IB will be a lifesaver. I don't know how many TOK essays I read, and I don't know how many people read my essay, and it just helped it reach that just next level. And it's important not to be shy. be frank, say that this is not good because this and this and this, and I don't understand this, and could you please elaborate more on this, and this feels irrelevant. Don't be afraid to insult your friends, because in the end they'll be happy and you'll be happy and everyone will be happy. Another tip that I have is to look online for resources, and the number one TOK resource I've found is by far Tim Woods. I will leave a link to his website in the description box below. It is a lifesaver. It has a really good outline for how to write your essay. It says exactly how you should approach it, and I definitely used that and it helped me a lot. I actually wrote my essay at first, and then I found Tim Woods, and then I rewrote my entire essay based on his structure, and it made so much more sense. There is also a resource on how to best structure your presentation, which is also super helpful, so please go and check this out. It will save your TOK life, I promise. And the second to last tip I have is to use the subject of mathematics to your advantage, because that is a counter to almost every argument that has something to do with language or something being with accuracy and precision. If you're arguing something about the arts, that there is room for interpretation or blah blah blah, then you can always use mathematics as a counterexample to that. And that is exactly what will give you the balance to your essay, because you have the arts or history or whatever you want to talk about. That is an area of knowledge very much based on interpretation and language and the more subjective areas of knowledge, while mathematics is based on reason, which is not a very subjective area of knowledge at all. So definitely use mathematics to your advantage. It is there to make sure that you can balance out your essays. And the last tip, lifesaver as well, avoid blabbering. And TOK is a subject that easily lends itself to blabbering, but then just remember the structure of point, explain, example. That is how you want to structure your paragraphs, and that is what Tim Woods talks about on his blog. But it's so important that you just don't go off on tangents, because the examiners will notice that straight away and you lose points, because they want you to be clear, they want you to be structured, they want to know that you know exactly what you're talking about, and you do that by structuring your paragraphs in an easy, simple and clear way. Just get your topic sentences in there right away, and then you explain what you mean by your claim, and then you give an example. That works every time, is foolproof, and that is the best way to make sure that you just stay on the topic. So that was TOK for you guys, the TOK essay, and I hope you all do very well. These were just tips that worked for me, that just made my TOK essay work for me, and I'm sure there are loads of other structures and approaches out there that works just as well, but this was again what worked for me, and I'm just looking to share my tips and tricks, and you're welcome to employ them or not. That is up to you. If there are any other IB videos you're dying to see that you want me to prioritize, then please leave your suggestions in the comment section below. And without further ado, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more university and IB and studying related videos. And I'll see all of you next time. Have a good one. Bye!